Hello there, my friend, and welcome to another exciting episode of Disney Travel Secrets. We are your hosts and also travel agents, Rob and Kerri Stuart, and we are here in the CMV studio in Windermere, Florida. This is episode number 460, original air date December 8th, 2025.
And we say this every year. Why do we keep saying this?
I don't know. It's true. I don't know. We just keep saying it, and it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, well, we could be a little more creative, but this is a short month for us because on December 17th, we are boarding a 4-day cruise, and this is our first time ever on the Disney Fantasy. And then when we get back, it is the week of Christmas. So yes, this month's flying by.
It is crazy because we never travel in December, but this deal was too good to pass up. And another ship to check off our list in the Disney fleet, and what will be our final cruise as a Gold Castaway Club member. Hello, Platinum.
Yeah, so this week we're going to talk about beyond the Disney parks. And no, that doesn't mean the space outside of Walt Disney World or Disneyland. We're going to tell you about what specific Disney partner that you've heard of, but maybe you didn't realize they were a part of Disney. And I think that this could be a good 2026 or 2027 goal to put on your list. I'll leave it at that.
And if they know this, good for them, because Disney pretty much owns everything. So you've heard us talk, of course, about Disney Cruise Line, and we have a very special Adventures by Disney next year with our friend Hugh Darley, former Disney Imagineer. By the way, we do still have some space available.
Yeah, but today we're going to talk to you about that really cool Disney destination. So let's get started. Take it away, Hugh.
Hello, my friends. This is former Disney Imagineer Hugh Darley, and you're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with my friends Rob and Kerri Stuart. As you can imagine, I have plenty of Disney secrets myself, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get this show on the road. Take it away, guys.
We do have some breaking news. We now have the updated version of our book, Just Add Water, Your Guide to the Ultimate Cruise Vacation. I gotta say, this is gonna make a really, really nice Christmas gift.
Yeah, so our author copy is on its way. We should get it today.
Within an hour, I think it should be.
Yeah, I think within the hour. But if you didn't know, 10 years ago, we wrote this book, and that was in 2014. So that actually was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And it is all about cruising. It's perfect if you've never been on a cruise, and it is perfect if you've been, but maybe you want to explore different cruise options. Like, let's say you've always gone on the same cruise line and you're like, what else is out there? Our updated copy has so much content in it. And you know what's kind of fun is one of our editors who is helping us with some of the formatting and the updates, because we sent this to our publisher. We've been having issues, so we moved away. But it is now up on Amazon.
We're back.
Our editor, though, was saying, man, you know what? I'm loving this, and it gets me hyped up. I want to go on a cruise now.
And she's been on cruises before.
And she's been on a cruise before. So we are super excited. You can now find it on Amazon.com. You can do Prime. We're probably going to run some specials on it. But yeah, this is a great book. Just Add Water.
And this book really is not just meant for the cruise customer. It's also great if you are a travel agent with any agency, because we have a space at the front of the book where if you're an existing travel agent, you or your clients can put your contact information right there in the book, because this is the book they should probably take with them on the cruise.
You know what? I think that would be a good idea.
I like it.
And now that one is up live, we are getting back to work on our next 2 books that we're writing. One is Just Add Water, River Cruise Edition. Makes sense.
Because that's a huge, huge niche right now.
And this other one we've been working on for a long time. 2020 really messed up the progress on this, but I think we've kind of settled.
We're 5 years past that, but still, yeah.
And that one is Just Add Magic, Your Ultimate Guide to Walt Disney World.
Okay, so that is big news. Now let's tell them about another special project that we're working on. Many of you have heard of Tables in Wonderland, and this was one of the best things at Disney. We would get this every year, and that stupid COVID crap shut it all down.
Yeah, so Tables in Wonderland was a special card you could buy if you were a DVC member, annual pass holder, or Florida resident. And ironically, we are all 3 of those. But this card worked at just about every single restaurant and bar at Disney World, the parks, and Disney Springs. And there were even Disney resorts that if they had sit-down dining, you could use your card there.
So with this card, you get 20% off of your entire bill, both food and adult bevies. And they would add back in an 18% auto gratuity. So the bartenders and servers loved it because they knew they were going to get a good tip automatically.
Yeah, and as a card holder, we knew that we were going to be saving a legit 20% off our entire bill, including those beverages. Now, keep this in mind. This was before COVID. COVID killed this thing,
Yes.
and that's why it never came back. But it was an awesome deal. And we had it. We weren't even living here in Orlando.
Correct.
We were over in St. Pete, but we were driving up, every month for about 7 years. And so we got good use out of that card.
I know. So imagine now getting a legit 20% off of all our food and drinks when we do the sit-down restaurants at any of the Disney parks, resorts at Disney Springs. That would be huge because we eat a whole bunch more now at the parks and resorts and, of course, Disney Springs. So that would save us a lot of money.
I know. Okay, so we had this idea that we're going to come up with our own version of Tables in Wonderland.
Yep, I like it.
Now, we're not going to tell you what the name is yet, but it probably won't work with the Disney-owned restaurants and bars, unfortunately, but that's okay because we're going to start a trend. No, you know what? Let's make it a movement.
I like that.
And you need to join us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and talk to all like the non-Disney owned places. And
Yes.
there's a lot of them. And what we're hoping is that by partnering with several of these non-Disney owned restaurants and bars, perhaps Disney will eventually clue in and go, maybe we'll work with you. Now, this is just a simple code they put in their computer system. So I don't think it could be that hard.
Yes, and we can make the card. So I think by doing this, it'll catch on and maybe the official Tables in Wonderland will come back, or maybe they'll just say, you guys run it. Not that we need more things to do.
I
but,
know. We got
who knows?
books to write. We got projects. We got an agency to
Got
run.
places to go.
Yeah, but we will announce this new project before the end of the year. Rob has a little work to do.
Yes.
So he has been actively talking to some restaurants, some of our go-tos that we normally go to. You've heard us talk about Gators, Paisanos, Giordano's, and those are just a few, plus some of those non-Disney owned places in Disney Springs. So I feel like we have a pretty good start.
I really do think I can make this happen. Again, not Disney official. So if you want to be in the know before anybody else knows, we're going to put a link to a current Facebook group that we have. Is currently called Tables in Wonderland. Once we get this project underway and off the ground, we will change to the new name. We already bought the name. We already bought the domain name, just, So we're going to announce that new program. Here's the big thing. You don't have to be DVC or annual pass holder or Florida resident to get our version of Tables in Wonderland.
I know. So this is going to be very, very exciting.
So we've been talking about a very special Adventures by Disney trip to Disneyland in Southern California with our friend, former Imagineer Hugh Darley. They've literally been talking about this for a bunch of months. And we were lucky enough a week or so ago to have Hugh right here in the CMV studio to talk about how special this trip is going to be.
And so here's a message from Hugh to you.
Ears to you.
I've been on a lot of trips, but Adventures by Disney, they're in a league of their own. Everything's handled. You just show up and experience the magic. But what makes this trip special is we're doing it together as a group. And we're going to places that are incredibly meaningful to me, like the Walt Disney Studios and Imagineering, where I worked back in the 1980s. I'll be able to share stories, show you where the magic happens, and give you insights you can't get anywhere else. Imagine walking through the places where Disney history was made, going behind the scenes, sharing stories and incredible meals, and doing it all with people who just get it. That's what September's going to be. The question is, are you going to be there? Because I really hope you are. Let's make some magic together. For more information, click below.
It's really hard to describe just how special this trip is going to be. We've done it twice, and the trip alone will blow your mind. But think about this, doing it with you, walking down Main Street, like he said, pointing out things that he did when he was the art director at Disneyland. There is no other travel agency doing anything like this, at least to my knowledge, because I think we invented it.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, we do have some spots left, and it kind of depends on when you're listening to this. So we don't know exactly how many at this very time, but don't wait. Just go to creatingmagicvacations.com, fill out the trip form, and for destination, just put ABD with you.
So last week was pretty crazy because we had people in our house tenting off a good portion of our bedroom to deal with a little mold problem that we had
lovely
here.
Florida.
And that definitely got in the way of our work and why we recorded this at the end of the week instead of the beginning or middle like we normally do.
Yeah. So as of now, one of the things that we're going to be doing more of in 2026 is sharing a little bit more of our day-to-day life with you. kind of like what's the day of the life in a travel agent, but also little things that we just think of throughout the week that we think you might enjoy.
It might be a little aggressive because we're planning on doing a video every day. So please make sure you're following us specifically on YouTube and Instagram, both for Disney Travel Secrets. And what the heck, take a look at Travel Inspired on both of those platforms as well.
And we may have some surprises in the month of
I think
December.
we will.
So the other day, Rob and I were, we were talking literally just the other day, and we've been in travel since 2008, and we ended up starting our agency June 1st of 2018.
I know, which is kind of crazy. And I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day. We had not even had Creating Magic Vacations for 2 years before COVID shut down the entire planet. And thanks to our amazing team of agents and our awesome clients, we came through the shutdown, I think, in my opinion, with flying colors.
Yeah, so we cannot thank you enough. And we are even more excited to move on to bigger and better things as our agencies and our agents grow in 2026 and beyond.
So here is another fun project we're working on. And if you'd actually believe this, we actually own the name howtododisney.com. I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, how could that even be? Well, we've had it for a long time.
Yeah. I know. I think we came up with the name probably about 6 years ago.
Seems
So
seems
yeah,
right.
we had actually put a course together, literally called How to Do Disney.
So that's how we came up with the name.
Yes.
I knew it was close. And looking back on that course, we had some really, really good information. And we call it evergreen because it doesn't matter if you listen to it today or 6 years ago or 6 years from now. The tips that we share and the Disney travel secrets, there you go, that we shared still work to this day.
Yeah. So now we're going to expand that course. And here's why it's good for you is if you are planning your first Disney trip and you just want to know the ins and outs, we're going to give you real information. You're going to basically learn when to go, where to go, and how to do that confusing Disney dining.
Yes, it can be.
So we have a lot of updates to do. There is more information. And of course, we will make that available to you, our listener.
Trust me, you'll know when it's live.
Yes, you will.
So what we're doing is we're going to try to put as much information as possible that we know about, mostly traveling to Walt Disney World. We may even sprinkle in a few tips about going to Disneyland in California, possibly even Disneyland Paris. But I can tell you in the 4 years that we've lived up here, almost 4 years we've lived right next to Disney, we've learned so much more than we used to know. Even though we were coming up once a month, there's something different about being a travel agent that lives next to Disney.
Yeah. Okay. So now you've gotten all of our updates,
Yes.
all of our exciting projects for 2026. But
So we only have 60 minutes left.
But no, I'm really excited though to dive into this week's main topic because every week we want to inspire you, whether it's a tip you're going to learn, something you can do in the parks, and this time of year, Christmas gifts. And we have 2 Disney destinations that we're going to tell you about.
It's a really cool partnership. So one name everybody knows and one name that probably not as many of you actually do know.
Yeah. So the first one is National Geographic Expeditions.
They've been around a couple of years.
They have, or as we call them, Nat Geo, because everyone has abbreviations these days.
I know. We're in the CMV studio. The second one you may not be familiar with, and that is Lindblad Expeditions.
And this is an amazing partnership between them and the Disney destinations companies. And it's really, here's what's different. Both Nat Geo and Lindblad are geared towards clients who love both. Lindblad's more like your luxury and expedition type trips, and then Nat Geo is very educational.
It is. Lindblad Expedition is the actual cruise operator they own, and they operate the expedition ships and run the voyages. They were founded in 1958, and they really pioneered what we know today as modern expedition cruising, including the first ever tourist expedition to Antarctica in the best year ever. That would be 1966. Coincidentally, that was the year I was born. My gosh, I'm going to be 60 next month.
Yeah, you are.
That's
so
crazy.
Well, you know what's kind of fun though is just this past year, I was following on social media some of the Lindblad expeditions, and Martha Stewart, like the Martha Stewart, she has done a couple of those expeditions and was doing one in the Arctic. And so this product, though, I've seen some other families and people that go on the Lindblad, like their product. One of the things that I really love about it is they welcome children of all ages, whereas like your Adventures by Disney, they don't really do that. So that's one thing that really stands out to me when it comes to Lindblad Expeditions. Now, one of the things that's really cool is that National Geographic, they kind of did a co-brand with Lindblad Expeditions back in about 2004. And so how this is beneficial to you is that you have National Geographic, which has their brand, their educational expertise, the photographers, the scientists, and all that content. And then Lindblad has the actual ships and handles all the logistics with the itineraries, the captains, the crew. So it really is an amazing partnership and an amazing vacation.
I remember last year they were at the Earmarks conference. Last year it was in Orlando. I remember we met Sven Olaf Lindblad.
I know, what a cool name, Sven Olaf Lindblad.
And he was saying his dad is one that started the company, and he was saying, with Sven Olaf, I should really be a Disney character.
Yeah.
And she mentioned one thing, and something we've been thinking about for a long time. This is a trip. Well, somehow, I say this now. We'll somehow fit this into our busy schedule in 2026.
2027.
As Kerri shakes her head. When? I have no idea, because right now we already have at least 3 different trips to Europe, and those are all, between 2 and 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
but if you're not familiar with Nat Geo Lindblad and you've kind of thought this looks kind of like a cool experience, because it is very different. It is educational. They have like a cool program for the explorers, for the kids. The one place that I would start, and this is the trip that we want to do, and that is a trip to the Galapagos Island.
oh.
But this is something, though, that's probably on just about everybody's bucket list trip. And I know Rob hates that term bucket list, but basically it is your must-do travel list when it comes to vacation. And this is one you can start planning now.
Well, I got to admit, I was literally blown away by how many different trips they have all over the world. It's over 100. I'll tell you another trip, and this one really stood out to me. We've talked about this for about 15 years. And again, this is something that stood out because we've known and dreamt about doing a Christmas market cruise on one of the European rivers. And I had no idea that Nat Geo and Lindblad also did one. I did not know that.
And the one that we're talking about specifically, it is an 11-night Christmas markets cruise that starts on December 23rd in Budapest, and then it ends in January 2nd in Vienna, which I find really interesting because usually the Christmas markets are ending by Christmas.
I know, I'm just saying.
So
it's aboard one of their ships called the Evolve, and this thing looks more modern than I think any other river cruise ship we've seen. So now I don't know. We probably can't be gone 11 nights over Christmas and New Year, so maybe we do one maybe a month or 2 earlier.
Yeah, but this just gives you an idea, though, of some of the things that you can do and plan for in the future. And so Christmas markets, if you're more of like into like some educational experiences for your kids, I know a lot of families are giving the gift of experience this year.
I love that.
And I think that putting one of these trips, and especially I would start with that Galapagos one, and then usually after Galapagos, then they go down and it's like, okay, let's try Antarctica next. It does depend on the age of your children. However, there is a trip for you. And I think that these trips have a little more meaning than maybe just like a park visit or just going on a Disney cruise. They're definitely something that is really special.
We talked about luxury and expedition. I think we can add another E to that, and that is education. This trip reminds me of like when we cruised down the Amazon River in Peru 10 years ago, probably, I guess, 10 or 11 years ago. And we were filming for a company. They're not around anymore, so it doesn't matter. And there was like 25 of us total on a small boat just going down the Amazon River. This is all about definitely not luxury. I'd say more expedition.
Yeah,
but
definitely expedition.
There was so much learning. We visited a shaman in a village where they don't even have electricity, and most people survive on less than $200 a year. They make or trade for everything. And I tell you, that was one of the most, I'd say the most humbling trip we've ever done was going down the Amazon. But the Galapagos, I think, even in the last 5 or 6 years, has really become very popular because more and more cruise lines are starting to go there.
Yeah, but they are very limited on how many stops can be done. And one of the things I love is that Lindblad has some ships that are small enough that if you had enough people, they're seeing a huge uptick in multi-gen families. And so you could own one of the entire ships with just you and your family. And if you're worried about this being like kid age appropriate, they shared a video with us at our conference, and these kids were absolutely loving it. And it wasn't just being on the trip itself. It was the preparation to get there. And then all the things they learned, they all get this special, designation, and they know all about how to get on and off skiffs and, snorkeling. So if you're looking for something really, really unique, this is something that we thought we would highlight and, maybe inspire you to do a trip like this in 2026 or 2027.
Well, think about these types of trips, even for the younger kids, maybe they're, 7, 8, 9, 10, is they're having so much fun that they don't realize it's also education.
Yeah.
It'll give them a passion for the planet, the environment, and for the Galapagos, lots of really cool animals.
Yeah. So the trips that sometimes surprise us the most are the ones that we didn't even know existed. Yeah. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, we'd love to share more. And so you can just go to creatingmagicvacations.com and just fill out the form. We'd love to have a conversation.
One thing to keep in mind is when you fill out that form comes to me. I will be calling you. Sometimes I call and like, oh, I didn't know you were going to make the phone call. I make all the phone calls. I'm the first point of contact for new agents. Also, I'm the first point of contact for new clients. So keep in mind, there'll be a call from a 727 area code. So make sure if you see that, please answer. Otherwise, I have to leave a very clever message.
Yeah. And if you made it this far in our episode, I know this one was a little bit different this week, but thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot of fun things planned for 2026, and we're going to be wrapping out 2025 with our predictions.
Already.
I always love that show because we're going to do the year in review and what we think will happen. And Disney's been pretty aggressive this last week, sharing like, hey, here's all the things you can do in 2026.
I think they've given us a lot more information than they normally do.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason. They want everybody to go to Disneyland for the 250th and Disney World too.
And then the 70th is going to wrap up. But there are so many reasons to get down in 2026. And so let's make that happen. That's a great Christmas gift to put under the tree.
And please go check out our other podcast, Travel Inspired. We're working on an episode on a very, very unique and fairly new niche, and that is solo travel. So check us out over at Travel Inspired. As always, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us today. And until next time, have a magical day.
We hope to see you real soon.